Hey yo, good evening everyone, this is again Riviero, and welcome to my channel. Today we are continuing the story of Tiny Bunny. For those who don't know, check out the first episode. In short, this is a Russian game that was made by a Russian group. It's a spooky fantasy game, as I understood so far. It's an interactive slideshow basically. And in the last episode, I already felt how harsh this game is going to be on us. So let's continue. Okay, so after we spoke with the mom last time, now we have a choice. She told us not to go outside because it's dangerous and one kid got lost. So we have an option to go out to the front yard, to go to the kitchen, and to open the understair room, whatever it's called in English. We will find out later. Okay, so we cannot go to the... We couldn't go out earlier, so let's try. What will happen?
Антон,
Anton,
сейчас ремня получишь. Ни шагу за порог.
I'll whip you if you make a single step out of the door. Was expectable. So what's this eye? This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black, as if it was absorbed all human sins from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm. But she cut herself with the cross sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. What else we had? The phone. My parents prohibit me from making any long-distance calls. But from time to time, I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the long hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice leaden quartz. Okay, and this is the last one. Mom's spectop, a family relic. My mom played with it when she was little. Then she gifted it to me. Ollie was the next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She started at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something, a fairy tale or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky backdrop. Okay, so I think we saw all the objects that we could interact with. So if we go to the kitchen. So I have two options, actually three options. We go back, we open the fridge, or we lie to Mom. Let's open the fridge. Okay, some medicine, eggs, sugared milk, condensed milk, pickled products, butter, some soup, most probably lemon, chicken, and pelmeni. That's my favorite food. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Dolly there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. Pelmeni, this is my favorite food. Pelmeni, a Russian variety of dumplings. Made by bowling thin, a leavened dough filled with mincemeat. One may even call it a Russian fast food. It's not really fast food because you still cook it at home. But yes, in around 10-15 minutes it will be ready. It's the same like Italian ravioli or dumplings, whatever. But Russian pelmeni are more tasty than ravioli because they have more meat, less pastry, and the pastry is different. It's more thin and different type of flour is used. But anyway, I think it's all about taste, so... Nothing more interesting here, so we can close the fridge. Lie to mom. Lie to mom. Lie to mom. What can we lie to mom about? No, lying to mom is not good. So I think I wouldn't even try that. Let's open under case. Dark, stuffy closet. My mom says it smells like mice. But how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened eggs. And Dolia can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Baba is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on the dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, dead stools and scratched walls. She did not believe me. She still did not believe me. And I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Oля count outside. 1, 2, 3. Better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the crumpled monster's den. I guess that's the only option, is to lie to mom. It's not good, do not lie to parents, but in this case, there is nothing else we can do. Why all of a sudden it became in Russian? Lie to mom was not easy, but there was no other way to escape from the house.
Мам, там что-то с телевизором случилось.
Mom, there is something wrong with the TV.
Картинка какая-то тусклая, и экран весь в полосах.
The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted.
Без ножа меня режешь. Дострелялся в уток своих.
Ugh, you are killing me here. So, have you had enough of shooting these stupid ducks now?
Говорила же, посадите мне кинескоп своей приставкой.
Told you, the kinescope will go dim because of your console.
Где мы теперь мастера найдем в дыре этой, а?
Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh?
Может быть, просто настройки сбились?
Maybe it's just the settings.
Сходи, посмотри, пожалуйста.
Please, go see for yourself.
Нормально же работал с утра.
Strange. It worked fine this morning.
Из-за снегопада, наверное, неполадки.
Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Ole's room. Okay. She went up, so now we have the chance to escape from the home. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my 90 fears. I saw those tip holes around here. Okay, listen, I'm having a problem with this word. Seal holes. Seal holes. Seal holes. Okay, I saw those seal holes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head, all on its own. In the light of the day, these distant fingers felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant, ringing in my ears. Distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and barely audible whispered in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent, so silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Oля. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's tiny stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any screams. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Dolia turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became a numb couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time my mom and dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together. Almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed Oля present, she always groaned and snored in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home. And something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke out, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who though? From the people with dead cold eyes, who sometimes visited us in a previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? And somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming minutes. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. That's Anton, our main character. That's how he looks like. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Snowy trees slattered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles frozen to the ice. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest, or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging on from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got in the edge of the forest, I saw a knighted Mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. A Russian mystery TV series telling a story of the daily life of the Russian police officers. It's in the longest running series in the history of Russia TV at the moment. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this meeting help them find the lost boy? Va. I heard a distant shout, looked like it came from the river. Va. As if the trees were calling out to someone. Va. Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there, behind the trees, hiding. Va. I knew someone was looking for the lost little boy, but still, something was unsettling about this figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally towards the ground. Its blackness. There is no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reunited for a painfully long time. Who could be that? Hiding in the forest, but at the same time looking for Vova that got lost. No idea. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating sour in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing in the sort happened. Nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the Mitten once more. Okay, we have a choice. Take it or run away. We wanted to find clues. We wanted to investigate. So running away is not an option. We have to take it. I decided to take the lonely Mitten from the branch. Vova! A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Who's that? Keeps on running around. I stepped towards the breasty trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch cracked, and the Mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking, and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny spring between the Mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. What? I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. Blood. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking fine branches, closing the distance with the giant lips. Snow was closing me down. No, snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged on a ticket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of the reasons. It gave me strength. Spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. I felt like the sound had come from the back of a hungry beast, rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot. A whiz. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run! Don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous, like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from a mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure in my leg was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole, and my soul were on the hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump, and from there I ran to my house. It's gloomy, the sight did not look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flipped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed through the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claws marks. Okay, getting intense. If the dog was striking the wood with its paws, it might need to be let in, so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and my mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled the door knob and it's obediently gave away. I ran to the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into the place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, clumsy barrier. That was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweet. My mom picked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same rigid voice she always used to when I talking to Dad.
Что конкретно тебе не ясно в просьбе не хлопай дверьми?
What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door?
Я случайно.
I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone. The breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from my mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring. And with it, the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave away. I propped myself against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those squirrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow.
Ты где был? Я тебе что говорила, а? Чтобы ты дома сидел.
Where have you been? What did I tell you? I told you to stay home.
Я и для тебя пустое место.
Am I nothing to you? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out.
У отца сигареты пропали.
Your dad can't find his cigarettes.
Признавайся, ты их стащил?
Be honest.
Курить бегаешь?
Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret?
Там за мной кто-то гнался, и я думал, меня...
There was someone chasing me. I thought I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned towards me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand.
Гляди, вон же они. Прямо у забора.
Look over there, at the fence. My heart started pumping as I became prey once again, and my pressures. Sorry. And my pursuers were following me at the field. I could swear that I've heard something crash at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow, but the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that I leave on the edge of the forest.
Божечки, ты их испугался? Да они сами тебя перепугаются, Антон.
Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they rather be scared of you, Anton.
Они гнались за мной, словно за зайцем.
They were chasing me, like bunny.
А вдруг они бешеные?
And what if they are rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them.
Что если они нападут на Олю?
What if they attack Oля?
Мам,
Mom,
Вот бы твой отец их всех перестрелял.
I wish your dad could shoot them all.
мама, они живые.
Mom, look, they're
А
alive.
что?
Ha, what?
Ты уж определись, они тебе друзья или враги?
Are they your friends or foe after all? Make up your mind.
Не маленький ведь уже.
You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed it in annoyance, and I felt so bitter. With a bit of my lower lip, that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb hidden corner, just to keep myself from crying. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my hands among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course. A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I buried this clue to my mom. I hurried to present this clue to my mom.
Мам, смотри, это Вовина варежка.
Mom, look, this is the Vova's Mitten. This is the Vova's Mitten. Listen, I'm very sorry that I'm getting mixed up so much with the English words, but it's really difficult sometimes for me to read them properly. There is a lot of words that I've never met before. I apologize. Maybe it's difficult to listen to me, but I'm trying my best.
Ну того, про которого утром милиция спрашивала.
That boy the police were asking about in the morning.
Она вся в крови, на дереве висела. Вон там, могу показать.
It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where.
Давай в милицию скорее позвоним, как нас участковый просил.
Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us to.
Мам, гляди!
Mom, look.
Фу!
Ew. A shadow of doubt slightly crept into Mom's contoured face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tried to remember their dream, but their images slip away.
А ну-ка прекрати сейчас же.
Stop at this moment.
Оля тебя услышит, с ума сойдет.
Oля will go insane if she will hear
Она и
you.
так не спит. На все подряд жалуется.
She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time.
Еще и ты со своими шуточками.
And you joke around like this? At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment.
Иди сюда, паникер.
Come here, my boy, who cried off.
Да не стой столбом. Вот, таблетку на. Быстро пей.
Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden colored pill. Reminiscent of the dead wasp. Fell into my palm.
Я уже пил сегодня, за завтраком.
I already took one during the breakfast.
Попререкайся мне еще.
Don't talk to me.
Сказала дома сидеть. Нет же.
I told you to stay home and you?
Был бы отец, выпорол.
That would given you a good whipping for that.
Сейчас же выпей, а то ночью не уснешь.
Come on, take it.
Тебе ведь в школу завтра.
Or you won't be able to sleep at night. You have a school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with the similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vovo's Mitten. Maybe it wasn't a Mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And all is all. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexaggerated brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing Yanni indifference along with it.
Антон, выпил? Можешь, если захочешь.
Anton, are you done? See, you can do it when you try.
Раздевайся. Уснул, что ли?
Take off your coat. Are you sleeping?
Нет, мам,
Mm,
просто задумался.
no, mom. I was just thinking.
Интересно, о чем же?
What about, I wonder?
Так, глупости всякие.
It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure was I looking at her own son. As if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son, and not some doppelganger that came from the forest.
Точно все нормально?
Is everything
У
alright?
тебя такое лицо было, когда милиционер про окно спросил.
You had the same exact impression when the policeman asked you about the
Все
window.
нормально, мам.
I'm alright, mom. She haven't deep sighed.
Хорошо.
Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Oля was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episode and switched to the other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzle. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Aigo's voices died down. I walked past Ole's bedroom and slipped into my own. Okay, now we are in his bedroom. What can we do? Only opening the cupboard. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the meat in there. The simple action drained the last bit of the strength from me. I sat on the bed, and only then I noticed there was something behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to the medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The concerns of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of clothes was stuck to my hidden visitor. It reminded of me of brutal sheets.
Оля,
Oля? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried up lip.
Оля, очень смешно.
Oля, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached towards the curtains. Badum badum. Beat my heart. Controlled my medication. The wind sang in the field with the chariots of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtains, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains.
Попался!
Gotcha!
Да я сразу понял, что это ты.
I knew it was you from the beginning. Honestly, I thought maybe it's a novel. Or the other beast that we saw earlier in the window. Gladly it was just his sister Oля. Blindingly bright halo lit up above Ola's head, with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted. But Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day, and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light, woven child.
А я все видела.
I saw everything.
Да ну,
Oh, really?
что ты спрятал?
What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little. Before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice.
Ничего, просто...
It's nothing, just... Oля ran up to the table, her eyes round and dusk.
Ты что-то украл и теперь прячешь?
You stole something and hid it there.
Ты вор?
Are you a thief?
Что? Глупая.
What? Don't be stupid.
Ничего я не крал.
I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to the mind. That Mitten, hanging from a tree bench. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the titled figure standing behind like trees. Ola could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted.
Покажи тогда.
Then show me.
Поклянись, что никому не скажешь.
Swear
Тогда
that you
покажу.
won't tell anyone. Then I'll show you. Oliver plotting smile.
Клянусь маминым сердцем.
I swear on Mom's heart. The oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. A new word. So, Pioneers Movement. An umbrella term for the communist children organization existing around the world. Somewhat of the scout movement. Basically, my mother was a pioneer, and as far as I know, my grandmother was a pioneer as well.
Не говори так.
Don't say things like that. Oля nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Ola leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of the exotic creature.
Это чья-то варежка?
Is this someone's mitten? She said that, as if she couldn't understand what she saw.
Один мальчик потерял. И сам потерялся.
A certain boy lost it, and got lost himself.
Теперь понимаешь, как опасно гулять в лесу, особенно детям.
Now, you do understand how dangerous it is for the kids to wander into the forest, right?
Ему, наверное, там очень холодно.
He must be really cold out there.
Его найдут?
Will they find him?
Обязательно.
They will.
Участковый по домам ходит, всем фотографию его показывает.
The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Oля traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window.
А почему он по домам ходит, а не по лесу?
And why are they going to the houses and not the forest?
Боится?
Are they scared? The question caught me off guard.
Милиционеры ничего не боятся.
The police aren't scared of anything. let's hope they're not scared. Because that's the only our hope.
И лес они прочесали.
They've already scouted the forest. Yeah, right. Flashed into in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches all dwell? I'm very sorry, but the language, the words that they use are a bit complicated for me, so I cannot keep up with reading it properly. I apologize. But I'm trying my best, as I said before. If that's the case, how did they miss the Mitten? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic. As if trying to get Ola as far away as possible from the forest ticket.
Если я сам найду пропавшего мальчика, нам, может, награду дадут.
We may get a reward if I go and find this boy by myself.
Кучу всякого, как в поле чудес.
A lot of stuff, like in the Wheel of Fortune.
Клёво же.
Sounds cool, right? Ola wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes. Uncharacteristic for her. Unusual for her, man. You can just write unusual for her or something else. Why are you putting uncharacteristic, whatever. I have.
А что, если эта сова его утащила?
What if the owl got him?
Ерунда.
Nonsense.
Не может сова поднять человека.
An owl won't be able to lift a human.
Ну вот что...
But you know what? I was speaking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain.
Ты в лес не суйся. Мне кажется, он какой-то...
Stay away from the forest. I think it
Как бы
is...
сказать...
How did I
проклятый,
should
что ли?
put it? It's cursed or something.
Как в сказке?
Just like in a fairy tale.
Нет, скорее, как на той страшной кассете, что родители прячут.
No, more like in that spooky tape our parents hide from us. Ola shivered and stole glance at the window.
Я видела, как ты убегал.
I saw you running
За
away.
тобой кто-то гнался?
Someone was chasing you?
Нет, просто, чтобы мама не волновалась, спешил домой.
No, it's just I was hiding back home so mom won't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. It was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind, and her small fire would be gone.
Хорошо тебе.
You are lucky. Actually, that's really sweet, because I'm the only child in the family. I have no brothers and no sisters. And honestly, I've always wanted someone. And this connection between brother and sister, I think, it's magical.
Меня вот мама не пускает даже на крыльцо.
Mom won't even let me to go outside.
Как принцесса в башне сижу. Никуда не могу выйти.
I'm like a princess in the tower, can't go
Так
anywhere.
и умру тут от скуки.
I'll die from boredom here.
Не придумывай.
You are wrong.
От скуки еще никто не умирал.
No one has ever died from boredom. Boredom.
У тебя же есть я и мультики, а мама с папой скоро помирятся.
You have me in your cartoons, and mom and dad will be good to each other soon.
Знаешь, что бы я загадала на следующий день рождения?
You know what I would wish for my next birthday?
Чтобы родители тоже в детей превратились. И мы бы все вместе играли, как раньше.
I'd wish for mom and dad to turn into children, so we could go and play together like we used to.
Ага, а если бы они стали размером с жука, то мы бы их в спичечный коробок посадили.
Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them into the little box. Ola giggled and tuked my sleeve.
Тоша, пойдем Аладдина смотреть.
Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire. Fatigue? I don't know what word is that. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous, heinous, apathy, apathy. Okay, heinous apathy.
Вымотался я. Что-то не хочется.
I'm too tired. I don't want to.
Ну пойдем.
Come on.
Мне скучно одной, а мама занята все время.
Even I got tired, honestly, from all this stress we passed through today. It's so boring alone, and mom is always busy.
Можно выбрать другой мультик, который ты еще не видел.
We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before.
Да я все наши кассеты наизусть знаю.
I know all of our tapes by heart at this point.
А вот и не все. Ты Питера Пэна не видел.
Not all of them. You hadn't watched Peter Pan.
Помнишь, ты уснул на середине?
Remember how you fall asleep in the middle of it?
А там потом такое. Ну пойдем.
And so much happens after that.
Пойдем.
Let's go. Let's go.
Давай попозже.
Maybe a bit later.
Рассказать тебе, чем все закончилось?
Did I tell you how it ends?
Утром расскажешь.
Let's leave that for tomorrow.
Утром не захочу.
I won't tell you tomorrow.
Придумала. А давай в прятки.
I know. Let's play hide and seek.
Нет, Оль.
No, Оля.
Тогда нарисуй мне динозавра.
Then draw me a dino.
Оля, блин.
Оля, please.
Нарисуй, нарисуй.
Actually, it was Blin is not please. Blin is like damn, you know, but in a softer way. But I guess they translated it not to sound harsh. Draw it, draw it.
Да оставь ты меня в покое!
Leave me alone already. I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken back. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Oля stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling. A precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Oля from crying.
Ладно, уболтала. Давай смотреть мультики.
Alright,
Только недолго.
alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit.
Уже не хочу.
I don't want. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head.
Пойдем.
Let's go.
Питера Пэна посмотрим.
Let's go watch Peter Pan.
Ага, ты опять уснешь.
Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless.
Не усну, обещаю.
I promise. I won't.
А потом я тебе целого трицератопса нарисую.
And I'll draw you full Triceratops later.
Ура!
Hooray!
Сири Попса!
Trippy City Pops. That's exactly me trying to read English words.
Ну, почти.
Well, close enough. Oля wrapped her eyes with a sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face.
Давай ты пока кассету перемотаешь, а я у мамы попрошу сгущенки с хлебом.
I'll go ask mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape.
Только утром свежий привезли, как ты любишь.
The bread is fresh, just how you like it.
Неси, только аккуратнее, а то разольешь.
Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk,
Опять ругаться будут.
or you'll be yelled again. Or you'll be yelled at again. Actually, he has nothing to worry about because condensed milk is very, very thick viscosity, so it's impossible to spill it. Even if you overturn the cup or a plate with it, it will be like honey. Stretchy. Anyway.
Спорим, не разолью.
Wanna bet I won't spill it?
Кассета где-то в тумбочке. Поищи пока.
The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Ola disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Okay, so that's the room. What's that sound? Okay. So we can see the objects. Let's start from the piggy bank. A piggy bank. Ola is saving money for a real piggy, because Dad said that taking care of him will take care of money. Will take a lot of money. Okay. Teddy bear. Ola's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Oля doesn't sleep without it. And she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Did you have a favorite toy when you were a child that you slept with? Me, I don't really remember if I had a toy like that I slept with. I had a friend. I had a toy that was my friend, Johnny. It's like big blue dog, but it was really big. I mean, it's still somewhere in my house in Russia. It's quite tall, and I used to sit on it when I was small. Yeah. Write in comments below if you had a toy that you used to play with when you were a child. Or Chip and Dale. Put likes if you know that cartoon. Okay, what other options we have? Okay, now we can look out of the window. The scary window where Ole sees that accused owl every night, lurking in the dark. Oля keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them down tight, so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. That's all. Yes, now we can switch on the TV. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. Whoa, listen. If I'm not wrong, I had the same cassette player. You see on top of the TV? There's a cassette player. I think I had the same one. Actually, my grandfather had. Orion. I do not remember. And I think even I had the same TV. If I'm not wrong. Very similar. There is like a small window. You open it, and you have more buttons to control the TV. This we had it when I was very, very young, very small. I think it was my grandmother. The TV was my grandmother's, and the cassette player was my grandfather's. Yeah. All of that was left was clicking in button on the Okay, so let me see if I missed something. Backlog. The old photon was gathering. Okay, the dust that we saw. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up, and the familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn out the VCR when the noise calmed down and the blurry image appeared for a moment. It was dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy, resembling human speech, was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Oля had asked me to find the tape. It won't be nice to disappoint her. Yeah, it's true, because you already made her almost cry with your anger. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Search. Set search. No, we're going to search. Because we already ruined her evening. Did you remember those hippos from Kinder Surprise? I don't know if you had it, but us in Russia we had those in the 90s, early 2000s. There was collection of those hippos in Kinder Surprise. And in my house in Russia, we have a whole collection, I think, of them. I sifted through the shelves, full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. Actually, yeah, it's written here. I found the tape I needed, thanks to its shabby spine. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. This rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images reeled in my head. Me and Dolly flying above the forest, tumbling in soft clouds. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed that the clouds underneath us apart, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurred among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us and Dolly.
Ты не смотришь без меня?
You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I love condensed milk. It's my favorite. But I've never ate it with the bread. I ate it with pancakes. And I ate it with banana and strawberries. The best. I rubbed my eyes.
Нет, садись.
No. Come, sit.
Мама с папой опять ругаются.
Mom and dad are arguing again.
У них сейчас период такой.
They're going from rough times.
Глупый какой-то период.
Rough times are lame. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter's pen shadow into the dresser. Ollie was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana.
Может, и нам родители собачку купят?
Maybe mom and dad will buy us a dog too?
Ага.
Yeah,
как же.
right.
В Небыляндии у меня будет своя собственная собака. И кошка. И попугайчик.
I have my own dog in the Netherlands, and cat, and a parrot. Olia smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me.
А у тебя все молочные зубы выпали?
Have you lost all of your baby teeth?
Конечно.
Obviously. Olia frowned deep in thoughts.
У Питера Пэна зубы молочные.
Peter Pan has baby teeth.
Вдруг со взрослыми зубами тебя не пустят в его страну?
What if they won't let you to go to his land with adult teeth?
Мы что-нибудь обязательно придумаем.
We'll think of something.
Попросим папу исправить тебе возраст в паспорте.
We'll ask dad to alter your age in the passport.
С чего это папа будет документы подделывать?
And why would dad forge documents? Ola took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full.
Будет. Мама говорила, что он так делал. А я подслушала.
He will. I heard, Mom, he did that before.
Смотри, уши вырастут, как у Дамбо.
To grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Ola got worried and touched her ears. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured bread, watching the adventure of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook. As if she was sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in the land where no one ever ages. There, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights, and the sounds of broken plates at night. I felt like I was dreaming, with my eyes still open, and my sister's scream pulled me back into reality.
Тоша, скорее, штору задерни!
Tosha, shut the curtains, fast!
Зачем?
Why?
Никто же на тебя не
No one's
смотрит.
watching you.
Уже темно.
It's dark.
А когда темнеет, прилетает сова.
It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes.
Я боюсь.
I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside, towards the treetops. towards the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, I just saw a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow.
Тоша, мама думает, что я напридумывала про сову.
I don't like the music. I don't like the fact that it's getting dark again. I feel like something coming up. Tosha, Mom thinks I made the all up.
И папа считает, что раз я маленькая, это значит врушка.
And Dad too thinks I'm a liar since I'm small.
А сова есть.
But the all exists.
Вот честная-пречестная,
Honestly,
есть она.
honestly, it does.
Ты же мне веришь,
You do believe me, right?
что она там и каждую ночь прилетает
That it comes every night and I swiftly grabbed Ole's hand and looked her into the eyes. I was trying to transfer at her at least of my courage and determination. But did I really have these
Я
qualities?
тебе верю, слышишь?
Yes, I believe you, alright?
Ты только родителям больше не рассказывай про сову.
Just don't nag our parents about it anymore.
У них и так хлопот по горло, они только рассердятся.
They are already dealing with a lot, so they will just get mad at you.
Ты мне говори, если что случится.
Come and tell me if anything
И в
happens.
окно не смотри.
And don't look out of the window.
Но она хочет, чтобы я смотрела.
But it wants me to look.
Перехочет.
Doesn't matter.
Притворись, что ее нет и не было никогда, что она выдумка, как родители говорят.
Act like it doesn't exist and never existed. Like it's made up. Just like Mom and Dad say.
Ей ждать надоест, она улетит.
They'll get tired of waiting and fly away. Okay, I guess this will be enough for today. Nothing really scary happened in this episode. But I'm not understanding, honestly, if the things that he sees or they see are their hallucinations or imagination, or what is happening. I cannot understand. It's scary. It's really scary staying in the middle of the forest in taiga, living in a private house where no neighbors can help you. And most probably those two policemen are the only two policemen in the whole village. So they cannot do much either. Alright, I'll see you the next time. If you like this video, follow my channel, subscribe, put a like on the video, write some comments, and see you the next time.